All right, so Mark Twain in the 1860s encountered Brigham Young in Salt Lake City, and he was presented with the Book of Mormon. And Twain wrote that the Book of Mormon was chloroform in print. Okay, and then his reason for saying that the Book of Mormon was chloroform in print was if you remove the phrase "and it came to pass," you would have a pamphlet. Now, that is actually quite observant on Mark Twain's part. But I would come to a little bit different conclusion than Mark Twain came to, because this is going to reveal some fascinating things about the Book of Mormon.
I think it's chloroform, though.
Oh, I know.
I think that's a.
I think he was addressing it from a literary standpoint. You know how you can't. I'm going to show you in one of these structures where Mormon is going to use the word judge like 5 different ways in one sentence, and it's like, does Mormon not have a thesaurus? Can't he come up with a different word besides a different form of the same word? What Mark Twain has no clue about is that it's
the depth of
it's poetry that they're doing, and he is looking at it from his very, very Western
flamboyant approach
point of view. Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, that kind of reading style. But the fact what he observed though is profound because of the use of the phrase "it came to pass," and we're gonna take a look at some work done by our friend David Allen just over here in Fairview. He has done some studies on it came to pass that are very interesting. There are 1,429 uses of the phrase "and it came to pass" in our scriptures. And in the Bible, it's contained in 61% of the Genesis chapters. Okay. In the Old Testament, it's contained in 22% of the Old Testament chapters. Now watch this as we go on. In the New Testament, in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, we see it in 13% of their chapters. You see that people are using it less and less as time goes on. Okay. And then Peter, James, John, Jude, and Paul never say it. That's very, very interesting. Joseph Smith never says it in any of the personal revelations in the Doctrine and Covenants. This is starting to be a tell about the Book of Mormon, okay, and the age of the Book of Mormon. Note the decreasing usage trend over time. And then let's go ahead now and graph that out. And you can see that starting phrases off with "and it came to pass," which, by the way, in Hebrew has a God element in it, like the providence of God, and in God's plan it came to pass, right? And then if you say "and it shall come to pass," then you're not only getting the God's hand in the picture, but you're also getting a prophecy, a prophetic nuance to the phrase. So this is an important ancient phrase used throughout the Bible, and especially in Genesis. So the early prophets and Mormon used the phrase "and it came to pass" extensively, while Moroni uses it 0 times. So here in the chapters that we're reading, you are not going to find that phrase that "and it came to pass," that phrase that Mark Twain thinks is so frequent in the Book of Mormon. All right, so we have an hypothesis. The hypothesis is that the older the record is, the more you're going to encounter that phrase "and it came to pass," and the more modern the record is, the less you're going to encounter it. To test this hypothesis, we have an excellent opportunity in the Book of Ether. The Jaredites did not have their language confounded at the Tower of Babel. And so their language is the most ancient of any of our scriptures. The result of this study was that 100% of the chapters in the Book of Ether contain the phrase, and it came to pass. And get this, the Book of Ether was abridged by Moroni,
Hmm.
who never uses it. And the Book of Mormon is translated by Joseph Smith, who never uses it in his own language. Or from the Jaredite record, we have the phrase, and it came to pass as direct evidence of the congruency of the Bible and the Book of Mormon, and the degeneration in the use of this important phrase as a marker coming all the way back from the Adamic language. Check out
That's
your
pretty
graph
fascinating.
there. And it came to pass, the Jaredites, every single chapter in the Book of Ether.